So, do you have a hobby? So, we were taught in high school, probably primary school, that a hobby is something you do in your spare time. My hobby is social media. And much to my colleagues and my friends' disappointment, at some point I had problems with time management. So a friend of mine referred me to a counselor or employee wellness program called ICAS. So what is ICAS? Basically, it's a firm in South Africa that you can call for primary counseling and therapy for personal things like relationships, stress, change management, etc., etc. So for me, it was an issue of being in a new job and also not being able to juggle my studies at the time. So I decided to suspend my studies at the time. And then through an exercise that I was asked to do by ICAS, I actually managed to balance my time. So how did this happen? So they told me that one, I've got 24 hours in a day. Like everyone, most motivational speakers and business people say we all have 24 hours. So it's what depends on what we do with it. So for me, they asked me to do something called a time audit. What is that? So they asked me, how many hours do you spend sleeping? I said 8. How many hours do you spend at work? I said 8. So that's 16 hours gone. So we've got 8 hours left. So how many hours do you spend preparing to go to work? I said, well, what's one? And then they asked me, do you exercise? No, there's no exercise there. How many hours do you spend preparing lunch, supper, etc. cumulatively? So about 2. Long story short, out of 24 hours, I could not tell where I used 2 hours. So I could only go up until 22 and a half hours that I allocate to what I do. So long story short, the missing 2.5 hours is social media. How is that? So on average, a person looks at their cell phone every hour and they try to do so for about a minute or two, which ends up being 5 to 10 minutes. So if you count those amount of 10 minutes in the work day, it'll be around an hour and a half. Then when you get home, you're on your phone as you prepare food. You're also on your phone as you're watching your favorite TV program. And you're also on your phone an hour or before you sleep. So you're spending a lot of your time on the phone. So to me, that says a person is addicted to staying connected because it's not necessarily about the phone, it's about who you are communicating with on the phone. So a lot of people lose time doing frivolous things like watching my video. Hopefully, this is not a waste of your time, but it's a way to express how to manage your time better. Another thing I saw on a popular page on Instagram is doing or having a side hustle. Remember at the beginning we spoke about a hobby? Now I'm introducing something called a side hustle. So per week you have about 168 hours from Monday to Sunday. Of those hours you spend 40 at work guaranteed, and then other hours, majority of the hours, maybe 50 or 56, you spend sleeping. And then in total, the meme I will share with you at the bottom says that you've got 28 hours in a week that you actually have to do anything that you want. But hey, we say we don't have enough time for a side hustle. So probably wasting time with socializing with friends over the weekend. Well, it's not a waste of time because it's part of living. But you could do more with less. So let's manage our time better. Let's use our time more effectively. Imagine if your time was worth an amount of money. Not to say time is worth a currency, but in the manner in which we work, time equals an hourly rate. So, how much time are you allocating for things that develop you, for things that develop your career, for things that develop your people around you? Is it spent on having fun or is it spent on empowering yourself? So, manage your time better. Help me manage my time better. and let's all save time and be progressive in the things that we do.